today 28 December 2018. The news headline: Jubril from Sudan and the importance of Dora Akunyili in a critical time like this in Nigeria. The ugly trend that is playing out in Nigeria today was the same scenario that Fulani cabals tried during the President Yaradua's time in 2009-2010, but it was thwarted by one brave and fearless woman, a woman of valor who was then the information minister, Professor Dora Akunyili of blessed memory. She risked her life for it. Her memo to the Federal Executive Council, FEC, shook the consciousness of many Nigerians, Nigeria and international community. She alerted the world of the danger ahead and the plans of the then Fulani cabal to bring an impostor to preside over the affairs of the country. When asked then by a journalist in an interview, how would you describe the state of affairs of the country with the president's return to the country? She replied, the president's return in the early hours of Wednesday, February 24, 2010 has actually exaggerated uncertainty, confusion, anxiety, fear and concern, not just by Nigerians but by the international community. These are the very sentiments Nigeria cannot actually afford, if we really want to build a modern nation. We have had uncertainty, confusion, anxiety, fear and concern reverberating across the country and even beyond. She was prodded further. Why do you think this uncertainty is there? She continued, well, it is there because things have not been properly managed by some people around our dear president. We were not told officially that our president was coming back. It was even Al Jazeera that broke the news, but I didn't hear it because I had slept. They broke the news that he was leaving Saudi Arabia for Nigeria. They also broke the news of the arrival. But I heard it on CNN. For the fact that it was not officially announced that our dear president was coming back and the acting president was not even aware, from his interaction with ministers yesterday, Wednesday, we knew that he was not aware. She continued, that created a lot of concern among the populace and the tension is so high that even United States of America made a comment today, Thursday, which I do not need to repeat, of how afraid they are about the situation in Nigeria. Our council meeting did not hold yesterday, Wednesday. We were there at 10:00 a.m. and waited till 12 noon, and as we were waiting, there was tension. Whatever the council members feared was exposed when we got the press release from the presidency, referring to the acting president twice as vice president. That heightened the tension in the system because what it actually means by referring to him as vice president is that whatever he had done in the past few weeks to stabilize the sinking ship of the nation did not mean anything to the people around the president. Otherwise, why would they even release that kind of press statement? We have gone through a lot in the past few weeks, which actually culminated in the legislative resolution that pronounced Dr. Goodluck Jonathan as the acting president and commander-in-chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces. So, it was very inappropriate for the presidency, on return of our dear president, to refer to Dr. Goodluck Jonathan as vice president. Dr. Jonathan should be addressed as acting president. There was no need for that tension. It was unnecessarily generated. That was the interview that jolted the Yaradua cabals to their senses to allow reason to prevail and allow for normal succession, which culminated in Goodluck Jonathan eventually emerging as the president of Nigeria. This scenario has played out again in the life of this country during this current administration with the death of General Muhammadu Buhari since January 2017, and there is no Dora Akunyili to rise to the occasion and assert the right for the spirit of Nigeria's constitution to come into full effect. This is despite the huge number of prominent Yorubas in this current administration who stand to benefit more should the vice president assume the presidency as stipulated in Nigeria's constitution. The cowardice of the Yorubas in this administration became manifest when the cabal referred to the vice president as a coordinator without any refutal at all, because the Fulani cabals know the usual ways of the Yorubas, that nothing will happen, and that nobody in the cabinet is going to question them, and even the Yorubas are not going to do anything about it. The strong opposition to the cabals during Yaradua's saga made the National Assembly to stand on the side of the Constitution with a resolution demanding effective transfer of power to the then acting president, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan. The Federal Executive Council supported the resolution and this was widely publicized. Across the world, this was praised. Nigeria's ship was stabilized and was stopped from sinking. Dora Akunyili was able to pinpoint those responsible for thwarting Nigeria's democracy. She continued in her interview, "So, it is not President Yaradua. I believe that it is people around him that are gaining from the confusion, people around him that are doing to him today what 100 million political enemies cannot do to him. If President Yaradua were to be my father or my brother, I would not allow anybody to do to him what they are doing to him today. This is the president of a country. This is a man so loved by Nigerians. At least, he is humble. This is what it means to be a leader and to have the interest of the people you are leading at heart, a woman of honor managing the information, not like what Nigeria has today as their information minister, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, who the devil is even ashamed of. This is the man that lies more than the devil, very ineffectual and a dishonorable man who has no respect for himself or the people he was asked to lead. These are the type of incompetent people that the late General Muhammadu Buhari peopled his government with despite wasting 6 months of his regime to assemble them. The consequence is that we do not have men of valor in this government, including the Yoruba Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, that rescue Nigeria from the rule of an impostor and a Sudanese body double. The consequence on Nigerians will be the consequence of these cabals rule anywhere in the world, include massive corruption, unaccountability, illegal laws, illegal budgets and illegitimate treaties. Written by Abulos Chidi Biran. Edited by Akachuk Wuis for Family Writers Press.